Yo, what's up guys, my name is Severman and in today's video I'll be recreating one of the biggest progressive house hits by the Swedish House Mafia. Let's go back in time a bit, back to the year 2008 when three guys from Sweden called Axwell, Sebastian Ingrosso and Steve Angelo officially founded the Swedish House Mafia. Sebastian Ingrosso and Steve Angelo had already been working on music together since the 90s and were joined by Axwell and Eric Pritz in the early 2000s. Through their DJ gigs and their individual releases, they became more and more popular in the scene and people started calling them the Swedish House Mafia. Eric Pritz wanted to focus on his career as a solo artist though and eventually moved from Sweden to London. Axwell, Ingrosso and Angelo continued working together as a trio and officially became the Swedish House Mafia in 2008. 2 years later, after releasing several tracks still under their individual artist names, they signed a record deal with Universal's Polydor Records and released their first official track called One, which was an international hit. Then a few releases later, in May 2011, they released their track called Save the World with John Martin on the vocals, which turned out as one of their biggest hits in their career on the Swedish House Mafia, but also as one of the most iconic progressive house tracks in the scene to this date. In September 2012, they released their track called Don't You Worry Child, again with John Martin on the vocals, which is without a doubt their most successful record to this date, and also one of the most, if not the most, influential and iconic progressive house track out there. Alright, so this is the song that we're going to be recreating in FL Studio today. So before we start with the actual tutorial, I just wanted to say that these obviously weren't all the tracks that they have released, but I thought these were their three most iconic tracks, you can say. So I just wanted to show you these, and now let's get right into FL Studio. Alright, so as you can see, there's already something in this FLP right here. So at the top I just dragged in the original song so that we can reference it back while we remake it. Then here in the second track we have the a cappella of the original song, so I'll use the a cappella to put it on my remake, of course, on my instrumental remake. Then this third track right here is the guitar. I already started like experimenting a bit with the guitar before I started recording the video, but I will show you this now in a minute. And one thing, I will pitch up the song, the original song, by 2 semitones as well as the a cappella. Because I don't want to get a copyright claim, so I might still get one. I hope not, but yeah, I will just try and see. I hope I won't get one. So I will basically remake the whole song 2 semitones higher than it originally is. So let's just check out the beginning of the original track again. And I tried to recreate this one already. Then I used 2 Nexus guitars. The first one is the Jesse guitar. The second one is the dance guitar, then the third one is from Labs, and these now sound like this. Let me also show you real quick what I put on those to make them sound better. So first of all, I have this guitar amp from FL Studio on the guitars, but then we have a bit of equalizing to sort of clean up the sounds a bit. Some like the famous OTT on it to compress it a bit, and I added a transient shaper to make the guitars a bit more punchy, then another EQ. So without processing, these will sound like that. Doesn't sound that clear, it sounds a bit dull. And then with the processing on, it sounds like that. Sounds much brighter, I would say, much more like the guitar in the original track does. So if we check out the original track again, we will hear that there's this sort of re-space coming in, just playing one note in the background. Happy home, I was a king, I had to go. So now let's try to recreate this re-space as well. Let me just show you how you can make one on your own, basically. So I'm gonna use Spire for that. You could also use Silent One, you could use Serum or whatever. I'm just gonna take the init preset here, which will give us a basic saw wave. What we're gonna wanna do is we wanna set the voices to 8 first of all. Then we're gonna widen it up all the way. Now we have a wide saw, and this right here is the note that it's playing, C sharp. Maybe put a filter on it to get rid of the highs, because we only want those nice lows. I'm just gonna turn down the resonance because I don't want any resonance on it. And then we got the bass from the original track.
In a happy home, I was a king, I had those days are gone.
Then at this part you can hear how it's being pitched down. And then in this part they're also changing up the chords, I guess. So we're gonna do that as well. Alright, got it. So now the guitar sound like that.
I hear the songs from the places where I was born.
And then I think we're dropping back to the chords from the beginning here at this part. But now in the original track, obviously we're also introducing the kick drum, as you can hear.
Now the memories on the wall.
So I'm gonna add the kick here as well. And if you listen closely in the background, they have some sort of pad sound, which is, I guess, is also a saw synth or something in the back, opening up with a cut-off filter or whatever. Oh, these are wrong, of course. Okay, I think these chords should be good for the next 8 bars here. Now let's see with the automation, it sounds good. So now they introduce this ride, so I'm gonna add that as well. On each kick. Also a crash. Boom, I found this one. I think it sounds quite accurate. I think these ones actually sound even more like the original ones. Gonna add some more FX sounds right here to get that transition really smooth. So an impact, I guess, will make sense as well. Maybe another impact that covers more of the mids. Maybe this one. I think for the impact, I'm gonna get rid of the bass because we have a lot of bass already here because of the kick drum and the Reese bass.
Upon a hill across the blue lake, that's where I had my first, that's where I had my first heartbreak. That's where I had my first heartbreak. That's where I had my first heartbreak.
Not quite happy with the Reese bass yet. I think I'm gonna add some more warmth to this one by boosting the lower mids. This area. I feel like this area sounds a bit fuller in the original track. Then I'm gonna add an uplifter or something. I think we're getting there now with the uplifter by referencing to the original track. I feel like we're still missing another synth in the background, something that's really detuned, a really detuned synth in the background, I think. Let's see, maybe one of those dance leads. Actually, let me look in the single layer leads pack. Maybe one of these detuned ones. Yeah, something like that, I think. Let's see if we can implement this one and if it sounds good with it. I'm also gonna automate the cutoff of this one. Okay, I just realized my camera stopped recording because my card went full. But all I've done now was I've set up this automation with this new detuned chords. And then I also spread them out a bit. So just have the stereo enhancer at 24% here separated. So this just separates them more from the vocal and stuff, puts it a bit more on the side, which is nice. Then I think that's pretty much it that I've done now in the meantime. So let's actually listen to what we've created now.
There was a time I used to look into my father's eyes. I still remember how it all changed.
Nice.
So I've placed pattern 6 here again. And then I think also it sounds pretty good already if you put those pads that we already had in here as well. Maybe we could try sort of opening up the filter here once again. Something like that. Then let me look for this sub drop that they have here. Then we just gotta add those snare drum rolls.
Don't you worry now. Yeah.
Drop is still missing, but obviously this is what we're gonna be doing now. So I'm gonna start with recreating the melody of the original track. I'm not gonna care about the sound, I just wanna get in the melody for now. Now it's obviously about picking the correct sounds for the leads, because obviously this isn't the proper lead sound from the original track. However, what I can hear in the original track is a lot of like detuned like superstar sounds for the leads. I think I'm just gonna go through some of these dance leads here. Gonna turn these off. I think I'm just gonna keep this sound here. So now it's just about trying out presets. I think this one sounds good. Maybe like a squarish type of lead as well, to not only have superstars. Maybe this one. And then I'm gonna route them to the mixer as well. What you can do actually is you select all of your sounds that you want to route to the channel. Then you can go to channel routing and then route select the channel starting from this track. Now let's also route them to one bass channel. Awesome. Lead bass, like that. I think I'm gonna first of all spread this one out a bit with the stereo enhancer. Yeah, maybe like that. I'm gonna spread this one out as well a bit. Like that, and I think I'm gonna boost the highs a bit in this layer. Now you can also see when you take a look at span, it doesn't really have much highs in it. Probably gonna boost the highs here as well. So now we've done the basic mixing, I would say, just adjusting the volumes for the individual layers, doing a bit of EQing on the individual sounds, maybe some stereo panning. And now we can go more into the the polishing, like finishing up the leads. And for this, I'm just gonna open up some effects on the bass channel. So first of all, let me start with a low and high cut here. So I like to high cut my stuff at 16 kHz. Like that. Then maybe let's boost the highs some more on the bass channel. Then let's maybe also put some OTT on the leads. You know what? I think I'm gonna add one more layer actually. I'm thinking of the Magnetron one maybe. Awesome, now let me put a bit of reverb on it, and I always have my reverb linked to the P controller, which like in here I set the bass to 20%. I'm gonna show you why in a second. Now let me open up the reverb. For the reverb I always low cut at 600 Hz maybe, the reverb. High cut I have set it to 10 kHz. So I usually have a decay time of like 3.5 seconds for my leads. Then let's route the wet signal to the P controller. So I'm gonna choose the P controller peak here. Gonna set this to inverted so that it's being sidechained. Otherwise, the wet signal will go up when the dry signal is there, but we want the opposite. We want, when there's dry signal, we want the wet signal to be ducked, and when there's no dry signal, we want the wet signal to go up. So now we have this guy sidechained. Now with the bass knob, the reason why I set it to 20% is because when you have it at 20%, it will keep the maximum level here at 100% in the wet, like in the reverb, the wet signal. Because if you have this one at 0, you will see it will go up all the way to 125. But I only wanted to have it, I don't want to have it going over the 100%, so I set this one to 20%. And then with the volume knob, you can select how much you want the reverb to be ducking. I think something like that is fine. Now let's head over to the drop chords. Maybe this one could work. Okay, let's try to add these to the leads that we have. Now obviously we are still missing drop bass line, so let me just grab the bass notes from the chords here. Now let me also add the drums to the drop. So we already have the kick drum in the break, which I'm gonna use for the drop as well. So I'm gonna add in some more crashes and stuff, probably maybe these from the break that we already have. Let me add the snare and the reverse crash here. Then they also have more shakers on the drop. Right, so I found this shaker right here. It's from Cashmere. What I did was I took just the first bit and looped it up. Then I also added these claps. Now together with the other sounds. I'm gonna spend some more time now on the leads and chords. I'm probably gonna just cut it. So it's just about like sort of fine tuning them to make them sound a bit better, because I feel like they still could use some work now. But yeah, we will see us in a bit, so stay tuned. Alright guys, and now something later, I think I'm finished with it. So let me show you what I've changed and what I've added now. So first of all, I've added one more ambience sound in the background, which sounds like this. Then I've changed the sounds, like the lead, chords and bass a little bit. But then I also added another layer to the chords. And then I added one more mid bass to the bass line, which is actually the respace from the break. I just cloned that one. So the bass line sounds like this now. Basically from the start of the break. Now let's have a final listen to the track. Let's go.
There was a time.
Alright guys, that's it. I have to call it a day now. I spent like almost 4 hours recording this video now, and I have to make a cut at some point. Like, I think the leads could still use some more improvement, as well as the chords. But I still hope that you liked it. I think we still got a pretty accurate result here overall, with the breaks and stuff. I think it still sounds good. Yeah, again, I hope you liked it. If you want to grab this FLP, feel free to download it. Check out the first link in the description. But again, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you haven't already, comment with your feedback. And I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.